Magic is here. It's the Friday Coven. We are all celebrating. Celebrating. We are all celebrating that it's November. And I want to think of everything as a celebration, which is something that I do. Hey, everybody. Happy birthday. Shabbat Shalom. So it is I, Enchanted Shane, the founder and performer of Fuck Your Fears. And this is the Friday Coven, where we wrap up the week, we inspire each other, and really step into some freedom and liberation that maybe you didn't think or feel before this. So I want to jump right the fuck in. And I have, yay, Cheryl in the house. I want to share a couple of things with you. It's exactly a week later after my one-woman show debuted as the work in progress that it is. And I've had a really interesting week of a tender, really exposed feeling that left me with a tender power and a really interesting relaxation that I didn't expect. And then this week I asked if you can learn confidence. So as you're signing on, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Yay, Josette in the house. Yeah, I'd love to know where you're watching from, because it's always nice to see how global and how wide this coven reaches. And I've stopped saying hello. That's not true. Some people don't like their name announced when they come on. And I think that's why so many people watch in the replay, because they don't really want to get involved. So I want to share and show up and say to all of you, thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. This actually becomes about you when you interact. And if you're watching on the replay and you don't really want to be seen, or you don't want your name to show up, that's cool too. You mean just as much. Yay, watching from work, New York City. And that means there's just room to grow, you know, and sometimes I don't believe it, but I really believe that we all have different processes and that people come to different awarenesses in their own way. And the people that want to come to it in the way that I get, they'll show up and work with me. But so I'm going to share with you my vision board. Ta-da! And it's so stacked that it's kind of hard. And on the back is a stage and me on it. And I'm so proud to say, like, this happened, right? We weren't in the round, which is my favorite kind of theater. But I took the stage last week and really fucked my fear in terms of, like, what's possible for me. And all week, I've been getting really cool messages from people of how they're fucking their fears. And so if you were at the show, or if you were inspired in any way by even the term, fuck your fears, I'd love to personally know. You can message me or write it here in the comments. Because our words have meaning and our words have power. And I didn't realize how fuck your fears was going to impact my life. I thought it was just a cool, you know, one of the cool titles that I come up with. And it is, but bringing Fuck Your Fears to the stage live before it was perfect and before it was memorized was one of my biggest fears, because, you know, since I was little, you know, very little, I had lots of confidence. But as soon as I went to school, I remember in kindergarten, as soon as I was in kindergarten, my teacher yanked my confidence right the fuck away from me. And I want to know if anybody else remembers, like, back, all the way to kindergarten, 5 years old. Was there a moment when your teacher made you feel like shit? Me. And I remember there was one moment. I was sitting with my 2 or 3 friends. We were always in trouble together. And we were coloring dinosaurs, and there was a brontosaurus, and I was coloring the brontosaurus, and then I was finished coloring the brontosaurus. And So I wanted to stay there where it felt fun with my friends. So I drew spikes on the top and I colored the spikes and then I colored the whole background. And I remember this teacher who must have passed away by now, Miss Carito. She took my paper and fucking crumpled it. And she's like, that is not what we're doing. Or something along those lines. But just remembering like, oh, fuck, lady, you just fucked me up. I'm 5. I'm 5 years old. Can you give me a break? So just really remembering where, and maybe you don't remember, but there was a moment when confidence was taken away from you because we are all born confident. And here's some examples. So when you're little and very baby, you take a shit in your diaper and you're like, whatever. You just take care of yourself. When something is sad, you just cry. When someone doesn't do something you like, you hit them. These are very young and primal ways of getting what you want. And when you get what you want, you're happy. So along the way, children learn, oh, if I get in trouble, I get attention. They just want attention. And so they learn through adults in their lives that they get attention through negativity. So there's so many things, you know, being an early childhood and behaviorist, it's like I watch adults and I watch how their inner children have these tantrums. So I learned at a very young age, when I didn't know the answer to something or I felt stupid in some way, I chose to be funny because it made getting in trouble less painful, less awkward. And that worked for a really long time until I reached puberty. And then I was like, I want people to like me. And that became my sole mission. And it didn't feel good. And I wanted to be popular and I wanted to be liked and I wanted to be beautiful. And I didn't see myself as any of that. So the 5-year-old Shane, who got yelled at so much and in trouble so much, learned that learning is hard and learning is annoying and learning doesn't feel good. And so all of the teachings that I've engaged in, receiving teaching and being a teacher of 4 and 5 and 3-year-olds, I found out that the things that happen as a child, and I still see it because I still have I have one very young client that when he feels bad about something, or he feels like he got in trouble in some way, he takes responsibility for that and totally shuts down. And that makes a mark in his body, in his blueprint of how he lives in his life. So when asking about confidence this week, and so many of you had so many great answers, most of the answers were about just fucking do it. Just like try and do it and see what happens. Another answer was it has to be experienced. So people learn to be confident through experience. And some, let's see. Did anybody here answer, or does anybody want to answer right now? Can you learn confidence? And the reason this subject came up was I had all these moments when I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Who the fuck am I to get on stage as a one-woman show and do what I want? Like, I'm not like a formally trained actress. I took years of something that was like a combination of improv acting and truth, transformational healing. And I was like, so really put to the edge when I was like, oh yeah, let's sell tickets to 75 people who are they have no idea what they're coming to. You know, I'm a positive influencer in a lot of things. I'm a life coach. I help people create magic in their worlds through creative arts. But this show is about really uncomfortable subjects, and I felt guilty. I was like, they're thinking, people who are coming are thinking they're going to come for something positive, and then they're going to be like, what the fuck? So my muscle of confidence was really put to the test. And even during the show, I mean, the faces on people, and I never know what's actually happening. And, you know, I could see maybe the first 3 or 4 rows. The faces that I saw were like, they weren't like, yeah, we love Shane. They were like, oh, fuck, this is making me feel and making me think. And that was the point. But I love that, Kara. Yeah, me too. I'm a big believer in fake it till you make it. And then I want to like even tweak that. And I like to think like, what did I say earlier? I really liked it. Believe it till you make it. Because it's not fake if you're doing it, right? I mean, the word fake, you know, I love words. The word fake means it's not real, and everything we're doing is real. So it's like, believe it until you make it. So here I am, you know, I've worked on my confidence. And personally, what I think about confidence is you can learn it. It is something, hey, Robert, I'm sitting here with your heat lamp. It feels so good. Hey, Thomas, welcome everybody that's jumping on afterwards. So confidence is something you have to keep on learning because we keep getting older. You know, we keep having different things happen that really may put a test to the confidence you've had. So let's say you're confident as a 5-year-old. Uh-oh, now you're 8 and somebody says, you're not coming to my birthday party. Oh, fuck. Now you're 15 and the guy that you like is like, I don't want to make out with you. Oh, fuck. Now you're 30, you get married. Now you're 40, you're divorced. So there's different challenges that life throws your way that will test your confidence every fucking time. You know, let's say you put on 30 pounds. Can you be confident now? Let's say you ended a friendship. Can you be confident now? And so life keeps happening. So if you think about the most popular, you know, girl or boy in your high school, what are they doing now? You know, did they use that popularity? Did they use that confidence to make something of their lives? Or, you know, were they just like chilling, doing nothing? Yes, I love that, Karen. It's so, Kara, it's so cool. Confidence building actually means, can your confidence withstand awkward moments, life-changing moments, rejection, failure? Like all those things are life skills that we've never, I don't want to say never, but most schools, at least in my generation or older, we didn't learn that shit. It was just like, fucking everybody for themselves, you know, let's learn cognitive learning. Who cares if you have a boyfriend? Focus on your work. Don't care about the other stuff. But if you're a kid and you're in the world of school, which is a lot of hierarchy, there's cool people, there's not cool people. If you look at every 80s movie, that's kind of what it's about. So I had zero confidence. I mean, I made it look like I had confidence because I was copying other people. I was comparing myself and making myself look cool. But inside, I was a fearful fucking train wreck from like 12 to 16 for fuck sure. And then it stayed that way. You know, I did have confidence to take risks, but it wasn't like I knew what I was doing. So at 19, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a stripper. That sounds like fun. I don't exactly know where the confidence came from to do that stuff. It wasn't like I had a partner in crime or a friend that was like, this is cool. I was just like, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. And I did it. And then, you know, I took yoga for the special child, the course, and I was like, well, I should have a business card. So I jump into things before I'm clearly ready for anything. When I was teaching the kids in prison, I'd never taught theater or mindfulness before, but I just knew they needed it, and I knew that I was the vessel to do it. So I jumped into it. I didn't know what I was going to do in that theater, but I knew I rented the theater and sold tickets. So that's what I do for my work, is I help people jump in and jump in without knowing what the net is going to look or feel like. So there's a level of trust. And trust is something that's so important when it comes to confidence, because you might not do something the way you thought it was going to look. And then what? Right? So like, Yes. Okay. Heather brings up something amazing. And Heather and I went to junior high school together. So we kind of knew each other in the most awkward stages of life, which is like 12 to 16, when you're like, I'm reaching puberty. I have these breasts now. I don't know what the fuck to do with myself. When I walk down the street, I see myself as an awkward, weird kid. And people see me as a woman. What the fuck? And boys, you know, with the little boys I work with and then the men I work with, it's like whatever parent, I'm going to say this in such a broad sense, but whatever parent fucked you up the most, or whatever authority figure fucked you up the most, it's like that inner child wounding is the piece that lingers and stays with you unless it's something you work on. Okay, cool. Yes, Heather, exactly. So actually the first module in my course called Fuck Your Fears, the confidence course, it's inner child. And it's the most brave work ever. And it's the most simple, but not easy. Like, how many of you create time in your world to play, right? And to me, play means no outcome, no attachment to outcome, just doing the thing to do the thing. It is a real skill. And most adults don't have that skill. When I was working with families, I would go to a house and play with the kid, and it was so much fun. And then I would ask the parent, like, do you play with your kid? And they were like, yeah. And as soon as they got into the play session, they would say to their kid, what color is this? What shape is this? How do you do that? And I'm like, those are very specific questions that are not open-ended. You're either right or wrong. That is not play. Play is not about right and wrong. That is where kids get fucked up. Because if they're wrong more than they're right, they feel less. They don't feel enough. If they're right more than they're wrong, they take on so much pressure to withhold that standard. So the idea of play means there's no reason to do this. It might be whimsical or it might be frivolous. And in adulting, those things have no space for those things. Yay, Josette. So thank you for co-signing on that. Play is something to learn, and it means you can't mess up and you can't get in trouble. And those two things plagued my life growing up. And when teachers weren't doing it anymore, I was doing it to myself. And that's what we take on. We take on the voices of the fucked up people that aren't really fucked up. They just don't know any better. And then we take that as our own. And as soon as you have an idea or you want to take a risk, those other things come in the way, those other voices, and they make the doings stop. All right, so let's see. Nahum says, it's so interesting because I talk to dog owners. Yes, exactly. Behavior is the same for all beings. If we got into the bee life, we would see that. There's so many stories. I mean, if you just watch, and blessings to the California, everybody. California is fucking burning. And I saw this beautiful little clip, and it was about Lori, the autism sorceress, posted it to me. And it was about a horse. Oh my God, this was so fucking sad. The horse was running free because it was fucked up from a place that was on fire. He went back to get his family. Like, horses, animals are beings just like we are. So you can watch a lot of behaviors and a lot of patterns in animals, even ants you can watch. Okay, call it confidence building and never learning it because it's one thing stacked on the other that slowly builds and adds to the confidence like bricks. Absolutely. And with intention and will, only then do you know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just following my footsteps. There was some intrinsic part of me that was like, do this, go here, go there. And it's not always fun, right? So as a empath, as a seer, I see the truth everywhere I go. And like, that is not the easiest thing to have because I see when there's truth that's suffering, I see people not making changes and it's really fucking painful. You know, family, clients, people I see walking around the streets, people I see in bars. I'm just like, damn, you complained about this one thing and now you're kind of still doing that thing and fuck. So it feels not fair a lot for me to feel so powerful and free when I have people that I love who are stuck in suffering. Yay, Jenny, what's up? So this confidence piece is something that has to not only be built as you go in life, but it's like you have to recognize I'm stuck. And that's like such a fucking big deal. And somebody wrote on the post something about I don't know. And when I was working with children with special needs only, I would have loved, now I'm really progressive in that area. Like, I don't think that it's good to even measure success with goals and kids, but I digress there. And I say that I think on the IEP, which is an individualized education plan, wouldn't it be great if it said, child will raise hand and say, I don't know, when they need help? It's fucking brilliant, I think, because there's nothing like being, and this could be for anybody here. When you're sitting somewhere and something is being taught to you or spoken to you, and you're just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't understand. And it takes a lot for even an adult to raise their hand and be like, can you repeat that? I don't understand. And then they repeat it the same way, and you're like, wait, I still don't get it. So I went to this, and now we're friends, but I reflected on this moment with a woman that came to my show. And I said to her, you know, when I first met her, it was this women's group, and she asked out loud, yay, Jessica, she asked out loud, does anybody not know what sacred sexuality was? And I literally didn't, and I raised my hand. And because I looked how I looked, nobody in the room thought I was serious, and nobody answered my question. And I was nervous because I felt out of my element. I didn't know anybody, and I'd never heard those two words put together before. So in that moment, I was like, well, I guess, okay, nobody answered me. I guess I should just know. Now I feel stupid. And it's kind of that thing where I rented this theater and I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. But I knew worst come to worst, I could stand on the stage and talk shit and get by with my charm. I've always had that. Even as a kid, I've always been charming. I've always like wiggled my way in and wiggled my way out of getting things. It's a privilege. It's a privilege of a lot of things. It's a privilege of being a white woman in America. It's a privilege of being a Jewish white woman in America. It's a privilege of being beautiful or smart or funny. And so I don't want you to compare in any way. It's natural if it happens, but that we all have these privileges that make it sometimes impossible to get to the root of any wound, because we've been kind of cruising on some like magic carpet. And you know, I want to claim and own the privileges that I do have. And how it's gotten in my way is I never actually had to really commit to anything. You know, like I bought ice skates, I bought roller skates, I got a fucking surfboard, I got a wetsuit. I mean, I've been doing that for years. And like, I've tried it once and then, I don't really go back to it. I had a drum kit. I played drums for fucking 6 months. Never really went back to it. I got a ukulele. So I try a lot of things. And I just figure like, I'll get it when it's easy. So this show that I just did really challenged me and really opened up a lot of wounds based on my childhood experiences of being tested, memorizing shit, and feeling like I can study this stuff forever and it doesn't fucking stick in my head. And so there's always more, right? There's always more ways to challenge yourself, and there's always more days to get stuck in your stuckness. So, you know, when you so I'm going to bring in the vision board now. So I made this vision board. It's beautiful. I fucking love it. There's so many beautiful things on here. Right in the middle is a certain money goal I want to have, and all these things. Maybe I'll take a picture and post it. And here's a picture of my nephew. I don't want to have a child, but I do want to have love with a man, and I want to spend more time with this child. And then in the back is the stage picture. And so, you know, my business card, what else? Change makers. Like, I really want to make change in this world. And then here's my favorite: create, defy, and slay. Some say I did that in my show. I'm still processing it. But the idea of confidence comes when you see a vision of what you want for yourself, and then you take action. So Osho, who I've been reading this week, has a book called Creativity: Unleashing the Forces Within. And he talks about the difference between activity and action. And activity is like busy work, researching, talking shit, doing all the things around taking the action, like preparing and this and that and this and that. But when you take the action, your body might feel like this is the wrong thing to do. So that is where coaching and mentorship comes in handy. And not just handy, but it comes in as the most important thing. When you have a mentor, they're there to hold the pole of possibility when you get in your own fucking way. And, you know, if our inner children, if your little self, when you were 5 and 6 and 7 years old, you know, got yelled at or were felt shame about doing something that felt natural to you, in your DNA, in the structure of who you are, something tells you, well, don't do that. Like the reptilian part of your brain is like, don't fuck around. This could really screw you up for life. So when it comes time to taking a big action in confidence, in being seen, in putting something into the world that only you can do, that reptilian part of your brain is like, no. And you might get sick. You might get extra busy. You might talk yourself out of it. And all of that is to protect you and make you safe. And when you were a child, excellent. But as an adult, it's time to be like, holy shit, that doesn't work anymore. That is keeping me small. It is keeping me hiding. And I don't want that anymore. And women specifically are genius about being visible, but still hiding. It's a real expert way of being. And the reason is because when you're fully seen, you are opening yourself up to other people judging you, condemning you, being confronted. And the truth is, you know, after my show, I had a lot of cleanup to do with people. And a lot of what they shared was beautiful. And they were like, oh, I'm fucking my fears by even sharing this with you. And I'm like, okay. So I stepped into a bigger stage, a bigger platform, and now there's more to manage. And a lot of it was de-escalating, you know, my own feelings of taking it personally and being like, oh, it's their stuff and my stuff triggered it. And I'm not perfect, you know, so it's just really interesting. The bigger your stage is, the bigger your platform is, the more risk you take. Yes, the more reward. And yes, the more you're going to have to ninja so that you don't run back to hiding. Because I could see why, you know, I take a bigger stage, I impact more people, I take up more space in this world. And like, there was some uncomfortable stuff to deal with. I could see why I would like run into hiding, throw a mask on, and play dead. But I refuse to do that. So here I am talking about it so it doesn't go into like the fierce, scared part of me that is like, okay, that was that. Now I'm back to life. And using my tools like journaling, talking to people with certain tools that help self-expression, so that no stone gets left unturned, and that all the things that I thought and felt after the show get looked at. But I don't get stuck in the world of processing and analyzing and talking about it, because that's another place where women love to hide, which is sharing is great, but if you're oversharing, and you're not taking action, it's like you're going to end up getting mad at yourself, and then self-sabotage happens there. And so Yes. Oh my goodness, Josette. And you are taking the shit over. Like Josette is a graduate of Fuck Your Fears, the Courage course. And she's running programs. She's showing up in her live group. She is staying visible. And something that she said she learned, which is so great, is just do the action. Stop getting ready to get ready. You know, we've been trained like, you need more schooling. You need more certifications. And actually, I don't think you do. And that is a place where a lot of people might argue with me. But fuck off, you know? That's like how I do things. And it seems to be working. And that's why I've chosen to be a coach, because I don't even love the word coach. I really love mentor and guide. I am a natural born cheerleader, and I will find what works about you. And I will also show you, and so many of you know, like, some things don't work. And it doesn't mean let's focus on them, but it's like, if you're an overthinker or you're really mean to yourself, it's going to be hard for you to move forward. And you're going to manifest people in your life that help you believe that you suck. And I'm here to be like, I don't care what you're doing. As long as you're not on the front page of the Daily News, getting in trouble, killing people, I believe that you can have success too. One of my teachers said to me, Shane, you bring me the three-legged pig and you tell me how amazing it is. And it's true. I see the light in everybody. You know, when I worked with children in prison, I saw them as amazing. When I worked with kids with autism and Down syndrome and all kinds of special needs, I was like, they're the ones that are perfect. We need to grow up as adults and see them as perfect beings and stop trying to fix or change them. I have clients that are like, there's no way my life can be better. And the truth is, if they're not clients, then I can't help them, right? You have to step into the arena just as much as I am. So confidence comes from trusting yourself, trusting the people that show up. And the people that I love working with love support. And they don't think of it as a detriment. They don't think of it as like, oh, I'm so fucked up, I need support. They're like, I'm a human and my humanness can get in my way. Will you help me? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. One of my favorite longstanding clients today said to me, she's like, I asked her what her intention was at the beginning of our session. And she said, you know, I have a lot going on right now, and I would love to see things in a different way about these things, so I maybe then could make different choices. And once you're in your tunnel vision about what you're doing and what you're seeing and what's happening with you, it takes someone else to be like, how about this? Because it's the same situation with a different frame. And then it gets you out of the stuck. And then you're like, oh, I never saw it like that. I guess I could do this, this, and this instead. So your ego wants to make it hard. But I'm here to be like, yeah, let's move the ego aside, take a couple of different visions, and then move forward in a different way. Okay. So Josette says, you can't know what works and what doesn't work if you aren't doing anything. Yeah, exactly. You can think about both and make yourself fucking nuts and convince yourself that you're manic and depressed. Yes. And that turns into anxiety. But you don't know anything until you do something. So I got roller skates. I had a roller skating birthday party at the Roxy. 80s birthday party. I love the idea of it. I get on the fucking rink with all this energy. I slam, fall down onto my tailbone. And I thought in that moment, I was like, oh, fuck. This is how fucking Superman got paralyzed. This could be the end. And all this black came over me. And then it went away. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad everybody's roller skating. I'm glad I'm dressed up. I'm not a roller skater. I don't do well on wheels, although I do love my bike these days. Skateboard, not for me. Surfing. I've surfed with my friend Pablo, and we're just sitting on the water, like chilling. I can't stand up from the floor fast, let alone on fucking water. But I love the idea of it. I love that I have a wetsuit. You know, it's like knowing is from doing. My mentor says this all the time, through the doings, you come to life. Through the doings, you come to life. And overthinking is not a doing. Voicing it. My clients get to use Voxer with me. If you say shit out loud, it will be processed differently in the brain. It like makes it real, and the ego doesn't kibosh it. Okay. Nachum says, haha, I love the way you just casually said, but fuck off. Yeah, man. Just but fuck off. How's that? Just but fuck off. So do whatever you wish, but I invite you. How are we doing on time? 35 minutes. Great. I love the idea of having a vision board. I almost feel like now I have to make a new one. Y'all, 2020 is here. It's coming. Don't fuck around and spend the next decade being stuck. You're ready right now. I'm right now in the middle of something called the Liberation Lounge. Wait a minute. It's not lounge, but I like that better. Uh-oh, that's interesting. Josette, how's that? Okay, so it's the Liberation Laboratory, but I really like lounge better. But anyway, and we're talking all about where we're not liberated and where we want to be liberated. In our bodies, in our minds, in our money, in our businesses. Liberation, personal liberation, is something that can happen right now. And there was one of the enchantresses, and she said she wanted to be on Oprah's show. And so one day she called Oprah's, I don't even know where, office, and the assistant was like, hold on, I'll speak to you in a moment. And she hung up because she got nervous. So it's that moment where it's like we can make a confident choice, but if we're doing it alone, the ego will rescue you, but actually fuck you and keep you stuck. Because safety is what helped you as a child, but as an adult, taking the risk and fucking a fear, an emotional fear, is what helps you move your life forward. And you know what? Sometimes you do the thing and the result is something completely different, and then something else happens that you never would have guessed. Perfect example, I'm an artist. I made these two on the side, and I got my art accepted and hung up in the RAA, which is the Rockaway Artists Alliance. I was celebrating like a motherfucker. I get to the place, and they said, can you write the name of each piece and the price? And I was like, what? Price? Who wants to buy my shit? So I made up fucking prices. I made up names. And then one day, I get a check in the mail by anonymous. I don't even know who it was. If you said to me, Shane, guess 100 places where money can come from, I would not have included that. I probably didn't even remember. There is no way I could have even guessed that that's where money came from. Let's think of another example. So I signed up for a coaching program, my very first one. I had $25 left in my name. And I had a credit card that had like $247 on it. Her down payment that I was paying was $250. I didn't know where the money was going to come from. The whole program, I think, was $2,600. I had no fucking clue, but I knew as a business owner, I need support. I just knew it. Had the conversation. I was like, listen, I need to save $25 to get home. I was upstate New York at the bungalow at the time. And I gave her the $247 and $3. And I kid you not, I was still only being a parent coach then. Hold on, Cooper. A client came out of nowhere. She said to me, I know you only work with families, but there's something about you. I want you to be my coach. And I was like, you do? She was like 29, 28 years old. She's going to pay me in payments. And she says, you know what? I got a new credit card. I might as well just pay you in full. She paid me $2,600 exactly. I didn't make those numbers up. I paid my coach and away we went. So sometimes when you take the action, you call it nervousness, but I call it energy, and you do it and you have no idea the impact it's going to make. You have no idea how it's going to show up and manifest as success, but just doing that thing shows the universe and it shows yourself that you made a confident choice. Hey, John. Oh, yes. Yeah, lounge is more comfy. Laboratory is technical, sure. Which my pussy likes lounge for sure. Oh, I was going to say something that I really wanted to say. All right, I've been talking very fast on a lot, but there was something that felt important. I know if I watch this on the replay, I'll remember. Shit. Okay. Whatever. Trust. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yay, I'm glad I took a minute. So, track records. I'm going to close with this. When you begin to take actions that feel scary, that bring up questions like, who am I? What am I doing? How dare I? All that stuff. And you take the risk and do it anyway. You do one thing and you're like, oh shit, I did that. It's real. No one can take it away. I did it so it's visible. Come jump up. Then you do another action. It's real. Then you do another action and it's real. And then you have this track record where your mind is like, you're a loser. How dare you? You're too fat. You're too this. You're not qualified. How do I lead other people when I can't even lead myself? And by the way, in the giving, the healing for yourself happens. But now you've done 5 actions and they all felt scary, but you did them anyway. And you didn't run, you didn't die, you didn't go into hiding. And then you have a track record. And now you have a muscle. It's like when you work that confidence muscle, you know, you don't go to the gym once and you have a bicep. You got to keep flexing it. You got to keep increasing the weight. And then you're like, holy shit, I'm courageous. And then you can like walk into a room and be like, I did a fucking thing. Last night I went to the brewery for Halloween. My friend was visiting me, and if you're in the Awkward Enchanted Coven, you saw her, Carolina Grace. We went. We almost weren't going to go, and I was like, come on, I want to dance. So we went for an hour, and it felt great. And it was like, you know what? I don't have anything to prove. I'm not waiting for something to happen, because that's kind of sometimes what still guides me. I have social anxiety. We all have social anxiety. And so just like owning that. We played a couple of shadowy games and we went out. We owned she owned her non-friendliness. I owned my my truth, which was, I don't want to kiss everyone hello. Is that bad? I had a bunch of awkward moments when people went in to kiss me hello and I was like, ooh. I didn't make the decision, but my body just didn't do it. And then after that, I didn't make myself wrong. I was like, I don't know. Sometimes we kiss hello, sometimes we don't. Some people I hug hello have so much cologne on, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to smell like you. So just really being truthful. I think that new confidence for me came from doing the show, where it's like, I don't really need an invitation. I just want to show up, say hello, be seen, and then go home. I don't have to like wait around for something amazing to happen. I happened, and then I left. So that's where I'm going to close today. I'd love to know how your Cooper wants to come here. I want to know how you are fucking your fears currently. Please share that in the comments, whether you're watching the replay or not. Cooper is a little boy, and he always asks for what he wants. I could be sleeping. Excuse me. I could be sleeping, and he backs up into me, and all of a sudden, in my sleep, I'm like petting him. He does not hold back. Children do not hold back, and so we have to get better at asking for what we want, not being bitter or angry about it, but asking kindly and lovingly. My thing that I hate the most is when people think they're asking for what they want, but they're being demanding and mean and making people less than them. That's not cool. I'm not talking diva. I'm talking like, I'm a beautiful human being, and this would make me really happy if I could do it. Thank you. I'm glad I asked. You know, having those tools, those communication tools that make people feel like they just want to give you things, because that's so much fun. All right, everybody, it's been a lovely Friday afternoon. Thank you for showing up. If you want to share this, that would be amazing. If you want to work with me, send me a message. Let's have a phone call. It's a free phone call, a curiosity call. Let's just see what that's like. You do not have to commit to anything you don't want. I am not here to be a pushy salesperson, just here to help you make your life more fun and enchanting. All right, everybody, have a magical rest of your day. Shabbat shalom. Happy Jewish pussy to everybody. Cooper says hello too. Have a magical day. Bye.